Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the V Bailey Network. This evening, we are back for another episode of Talks with V Safety Series. Today's show will be about physical safety. Before we get too far along, I'll ask you guys, if you haven't already done so, to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. And also, you want to hit the bell so you get any alerts about any upcoming shows, or make sure that you can just a reminder to catch up on past shows and share with your family members and your friends, because we don't want you to miss any of the wonderful content that we have right on the V Bailey Network. Well, now we are super excited about this season. It's been wonderful. We talked about different types of safety. And it's been very important to me because I based the show, this whole series, off of my book, The Safest Place, that will be coming out soon. And just the whole journey has reminded me how important that these different areas of safety are, and just realizing that there are so many different areas of safety that we don't even think about. And for the ones that are a little bit more common, like tonight's episode, physical safety, there's levels to it, right? And a lot of times we're not always comfortable with exploring what does that mean to us, especially, as women. It can be scary to have to think about it. So sometimes we're just like, okay, I'll be cautious, but not really explore those different types of safety. But our guest that's joining us this evening, I think she can help us out, with that, keeping us safe, or exploring different ways to become more physically safe. So let's get into it. So our guest this evening, she has been doing a lot of wonderful work in the community. She is very passionate and, a protector of women, and a leader of Beyond Defense since 2019. It's her business. And for 20 years, she has been an advocate for women's safety and making sure that they have the tools to protect themselves. And I believe that women are lucky to have her, for sure, because I am lucky to even have met you and just see the work and your content on your social media accounts. And so without further ado, I'm super excited to welcome Miss Marcya Cain. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Miss V. Bailey. That was a great introduction. I appreciate you having me on this evening. I'm excited to talk about how we can keep women empowered and protected.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Well, Marcya, the work that you're doing is phenomenal. I wanted to ask you, how did you get into the work that you're doing? Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing, a little bit about you, and what birthed this business as far as Beyond Defense.
Sure. So the first thing was my youngest daughter. I have 3 adult daughters, and so we're all in business together. They're like silent partners because they were like, "Mom, you go ahead and do your thing." But my youngest daughter, she came to me a couple of years ago in 2019, and she said, "I want to start selling these self-defense weapons." There was like keychains and stuff that people were doing. She's like, "This is a really good idea. I think I'm going to do it." And as moms do, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do it. So I invited myself into the business, and we started out selling self-defense weapons, non-lethal weapons. We started out doing that. And in hindsight, when I think about the work that I'm doing, because I've graduated from not just selling self-defense weapons, but also teaching self-defense. When in hindsight, I think I've been doing this my whole life. Like I've been protecting my children, my nieces, my nephews. I've been in the streets marching when women were being abused and having domestic violence situations, and the police were not protecting them. I've been doing this work my whole life, so it's an easy vein and an easy lane for me to be in, because I've been here as and that's true. I'm a passionate protector of women and children. You're not gonna it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be around me and something gonna happen to a woman or a child, and I'm not gonna speak up and protect them and show them how to help themselves. So,
Yes. No, I think that that's amazing. And it's so important that we've gotten to a time where a lot of people are like minding their business, not caring for their neighbor like it was once upon a time. And so it's so refreshing just to know that the work is still being done, and that there are people out there who care, about their sister, a child. There's a lot of women who didn't grow up with that. So, I know that is something that means the world to them, to have someone fighting for them in their corner, as is, yourself. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and I'm definitely that auntie, that mama that's going to be here.
Yes.
But I did want to say, to your point about people are minding their business now, and it's not like it used to be when we were younger. It's changed a little bit, because remember, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. Sometimes we grew up in the same place, right? So everybody's mom and dad and uncle and auntie, they knew each other. So like you couldn't walk from the school after you got in trouble and walk home, and everybody didn't already know what was going on. Now we're moved, we're spread out farther, and we don't always have that, what I call that village. It takes a village to raise a child, right? So we don't always have that village. And then we're in this space now where people are afraid to be hurt because they're protecting someone else. So they'll just step back. But then there's that group of people that will be like, I'm gonna step back, but I'm gonna film it and then post it later. And those folks, they wear me out.
Oh my gosh.
You're either gonna help or you're gonna leave. But like, don't film it for likes and views later.
Yeah. It's scary, It's scary that's what it's like. That's what you think about when someone is in danger.
Right.
It's really terrible. But so no, I was going to lead into, I know the fact that you have taken on the fight of against sex trafficking and violence against women. Thank you so much for that. What I wanted to ask, what makes us most vulnerable in your opinion, and what should we look out for as far as just women who don't think about these type of things? Nothing's ever happened to them, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. What are the things that make us vulnerable?
I will say the thing that makes us vulnerable is not paying attention to our surroundings. Yeah. That's 90% of what makes any person vulnerable. But if we're not paying attention to what's going on around us, then we can't. It's situational awareness is what it's called. Situational awareness is 90% of being able to protect yourself. And that includes knowing the type of people that are in close proximity to you and what they're doing. And that could be if we're at the bus stop, if we're at the grocery store, if we are in a club, if we are at brunch with our friends, if we are at the park with our children. Like, we really need to be more cognizant of what is going on around us. And especially because there's so much sex trafficking going on. They almost
so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex trafficking going on, and I want people to remember it's a business. People get money for trafficking other people. They don't care what you look like. It's male and females are being trafficked. Male and females are trafficking. So it's really important for us to pay attention to when someone's shifty in our space, when there's an energy that's off, when someone is every time I'm walking down the aisle, you walking down the aisle in the grocery store, in whatever store it is. Every time you shopping for tampons and frying pans, what are you doing? Right?
Listen, people can't even be a helpful spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend anymore because of, the other people who are committing crimes
Right.
It sucks because it's just kind of like, what is the bad apple spoils the batch, or I don't know if that's a correct saying, but
I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, if I send out my spouse to buy tampons, that's fine. But I shouldn't see you. The spouse shouldn't be in the same lane as every other person. It's just very odd. So it's sort of like if you're driving and you think someone's following you, make a left turn and see if they follow you. You know what I mean? Like, so paying attention to, we're all in the store. We're all just hurrying up, trying to get home. 95% of us are, but there's that faction of people that are looking for a victim. And so we need to be,
you are. Yeah.
Right. So we really need to be paying attention to those different spaces. Gas stations are notoriously bad for trafficking, and it's because they're on interstates. You can get off and on very quickly. So someone could get on, pick somebody up, and they're down I-95 in 3 different states before anybody realizes they're gone. So we really need to be paying attention to our surroundings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and just thinking about that is the awareness of your surroundings. Listen, my head be on the swivel. I know people be like, okay, you paid attention to this, and I'm like, listen, I will be looking around, and sometimes you won't know. It's just so natural, to me, but you won't know. But like, just all the videos that I've seen and sketchy people sometimes when you're going to Walmart or some store, and in the nighttime, and you're just like, I just got to go pick up a few things. And people following you. I had that time I was at a store and this guy just kept following me in every aisle. And I was just like, sir, can I help you?
Right.
And he's like, oh, no, I'm just looking for a card, for my buddy's daughter. It's her birthday and this and that. I'm like, okay, did you want me to give you a suggestion? And he was like, oh, well, she's, this age, this and that. I'm like, okay, well, there's some over there, and so he kind of, does this thing and he's looking and he's, kind of close to me. And so I kind of move away. And then I'm like, well, good luck, and then so he goes to a different aisle. But then when I go to the next aisle, here he is, coming down that aisle again. And then after the third aisle, I'm just like, no, So I had to go, I let them know in the front. I'm like, this guy is following me. Like, I am going to take a long time here, so he can leave, and for one of you guys to watch me, when it's time to leave, and they were, there, protective and everything, in the store. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, it is very scary, out here.
It's very scary, and I really am glad that you did some of the things that you did, and so that is a good example of how to protect yourself. Like, having your head on a swivel is something, it's learned. It's not something that necessarily comes easy, and it doesn't come fast. Like, I have to be very cognizant that every time I walk out to the car, I'm looking under my tires. I'm looking to make sure my tires aren't flat. I'm looking to make sure there's nothing in my windshield. I'm looking to make sure nothing's on my door handle. I'm looking to make sure there's nobody in the back seat. I'm looking to make sure that there's nobody under my car. I just named 5 things. It takes 30 seconds now that I know what I'm looking for to be able to just walk to my car, know it's safe, and get in. But if it's not something I've been taught or practiced, it'll just take a little time. But what you said about confronting the person in the store, that's a good one. Number 2 is being aware enough to know that somebody was following you in the aisle, because some of us
Yes.
are just not paying attention. And then realizing once you've confronted him, once you've realized that they're following you, and they still are, not just running out to the car, because people will do that. Women will just run out to the car and like hurry up by themselves to get out. Well, that person that's on the inside that's stalking you may have someone on the outside waiting for you. So stopping and making sure that the people in the store know, if you want to leave, have someone escort you out there. All of those are very good steps to be able to protect yourself. So you did a good job.
Yeah, no. And then, it just made me think of like, him being so close, just like, are you going to do something, like prick me with something, I mean, I do watch a lot of crime TV, but you just never know. It could take a little while, or just being around me in the store. And you know how it is, two Black people next to each other, people thinking y'all together, so if you're hanging out around me, for a certain period of time, it could look, like, oh, okay, she was with this person, or did she come in with this person or no, and it be a problem. So yeah, it had me on high alert. I just noticed more. And then living here in Texas, the Amber Alert goes off all the time, and it's children, it's adults, and like you mentioned, even males too. So tell us a little bit about that, too. Like males are, a lot of people are probably thinking that it's just women that are vulnerable, to this type of thing, sex trafficking or, violence. But tell us more. Males, is it a certain population of males, an age range that you find that they're the target that, that it's usually, target that group of men that are usually targeted?
So what I'm seeing in the news, and unfortunately we don't get to see the information as much as we should, but Black and brown people are going missing at a faster rate than almost any other nationality. Native American women are in a high percentage as well. But what you're finding is that, again, it's super important for people to keep in the forefront of their mind that it is a business. And so the trafficking is for very despicable, very disgusting people to do whatever it is that they want to do, whether they're trafficked to kill them, whether they're trafficked to keep them as sex slaves or whatever. Like they're very disgusting, despicable people. And so what you're finding is that there's large numbers of youth that are missing at one time. Like I remember seeing in Philadelphia a couple of months back, then there was like 10 children that all went missing in a week's time span. That is not a coincidence.
And it's not a one person job either, because
precisely. So we need to, as adults, as adult women, and adults, period, we need to be really paying attention. But as we learn, we need to be giving the information to the children on what to watch out for. I taught a class a few weeks ago, and I said, what is for the children, for the teenagers, like, how do you protect yourselves? Well, it's a buddy system. And I got grandkids, so I know what y'all be doing when y'all out in the street. You're not paying attention. So if there's 5 of you out in the street, y'all need to be like, somebody pay attention to this street, somebody pay attention to this street, somebody be looking out for this car, because y'all are having a good time. I remember, I know the kids are out here, they cutting up, being silly, talking your mama jokes, whatever they doing, but you gotta make sure that you're paying attention. Like, oh man, I just seen that Nissan drive around 3 times.
Yeah, you gotta have that paranoid, what they'll call the paranoid Fred. It's like, somebody got to be paying attention.
So like, just give everybody a job so that they know, like, we can hang out and we can have a buddy system, but also we got to be paying attention to what's going on, because they'll see 2 or 3 kids and they'll try to pick them up all at once. So you still have to be careful of that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you kind of took took the question right out of my mouth about different safety tips that you have. Were there any other safety tips that could share with us for just in general, just tips that we can hang on to and keep it on the forefront of our mind when we're going out late or just in general?
So I
People are,
will tell you, like I said, I sell weapons.
yeah.
So I say keep a weapon on you at all times.
Yeah.
That's the first tip because we're talking about situational awareness and paying attention to our surroundings. And the things that I teach are how to identify a threat and how to avoid a threat and how to be able to protect yourself if you are attacked. So
Yes.
we talked about the car. The car is a big one because
Yeah.
again, people are putting tissues in your door handle with poison. They're
Yeah.
putting flyers in your windshield. They'll put a $20 bill in the bushes by your vehicle, right?
Mm.
So
Wow.
oh, wow, there's money. I'm going to go pick it up. And then someone's going to come from around the other side and get
Snatch
you.
it up. Yeah.
So those are of course things to think about. But when like you said, going out in the evening, like I don't want you to stop doing
Living.
whatever it is. Yeah, don't stop living, but also just make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I tell people is have a theme song. My theme song is Bone Crusher, Never Scared. So
I love it. I
but
don't get me cutting up.
right. But if you're not someone who's been confident in safety, if you're not someone who's have really thought about it, I think about Beyonce had a alter ego, Sasha Fierce. Bruce Wayne had Batman. Like, what's your alter ego? What's your song that's in your head when you're out there, so that you can build your confidence until you get to that part, right? So so think about, and then if we're paying attention to what's going on around us, we also have to think about how we're going to respond if something happens.
Yeah.
And you can't think, oh, you can't think of every situation. That's impossible. But if you have a couple of ideas in your head, like let's say I'm at the gas station and someone tries to jack my car, or if I'm in the bathroom and somebody tries to attack me, like what are the things? There's so many situations and scenarios, but how are you going to fight back? Like, how are you going to get out of it?
What being prepared.
Right. I was watching, you're talking about crime shows. I love crime shows too. And we are the most vulnerable in our home, in our bathroom. Right? Because if someone breaks in and you're in the shower or you're using the restroom, like what kind of weapon do you have in the bathroom? So I keep this beautiful little comb in my bathroom.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a comb. It belongs in the bathroom. But if you don't have, people don't even expect it if they come after me. But I saw a show and someone was attacking the woman and trying to get in the bathroom, and she picked up the back of the toilet seat.
Yeah. Oh, it hit it. Okay.
Yeah. That's like, what are you going to do? Like, thinking about one or two scenarios and how you're going to fight back is really going to put you in a better space or if something happens.
No, absolutely. I love that. It's just readiness, just being prepared for anything, because anything could happen, in ignoring the fact that is, the truth, puts you in a more vulnerable state because you are not prepared, because you're just like, oh no, that's not going to happen. That kind of thing doesn't happen over here. It's a good neighborhood. Nothing. I've lived here for years. Listen, when I shower, I've got everything locked up. I got the doors locked up. I'm like, no, there won't be anybody catching me off guard. I mean,
Right.
and at least if they're trying to get in, I'm going to, hear them, and I can prepare a little bit more, think fast,
Right.
or have a couple combs in the
I tell you, this my favorite little thing.
No, I love that. I love
But I saw, I mean, and you said something that's to think about, like, this is a good neighborhood, nothing happens here. Well, when the economy starts to shift and people start to get more desperate, they're not robbing the hood.
Right.
They're not stealing cars in the hood. They're not breaking in the same place where they live, because they know nobody has what they need over there. So we really have to be thinking about, we really have to be thinking about those kinds of situations. And it may not happen, but we really just, those are just things, like, we live in dangerous
times. You don't want to take that chance.
Right. We live in dangerous times. So if we're in dangerous times, then we should be just putting ourselves in a position to be able to protect ourselves. You got to save your own life, because we know somebody will see you getting attacked and they're going to film it and be like, world star. And
right. Or something. Yeah. It's like, hey, listen, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
I'm sorry. Is it the
I
shade room?
don't
I know.
My mind went there when you said that too. I'm like, is World Star still there? I mean, they got so much other stuff. I feel like it's just there. Social media is just
right.
You go. You can watch TikTok. I think that TikTok has a lot of it in Instagram.
Right.
You see a lot. Facebook too.
It's really anywhere, but that was the first thing that came to my mind. But
yeah, no, I remember World Star.
Like, I remember maybe it was a few years ago. Time goes fast, but there was a woman that got raped on the subway, and they filmed it while she was being raped. No one stopped her. No one went in to help. No one tried to help. No one pulled the man off, but someone filmed it. So you made a soft porn about someone's, being
violated.
Yeah. So it's just really something that we have to, I tell women all the time, you have to be prepared to save your own life. If someone comes to your rescue, that's great. But you have to be prepared to save your own life.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is just terrible. Oh, I can't. And it's me so upset, because it's just like, where is the humanity? Like, what is going on inside of you that would allow you to just either stand by it and just watch, or film it as something is happening? Someone may be dying right in front of you. It's just, it's just a travesty, just the fact that is a reality to many people, and that poor young lady. Going into the next question, I wanted to ask, how do you help empower women who have been violated in the past?
Yeah.
To feel more physically safe?
Yeah. So what I do is, when I teach self-defense, when I teach my classes, one of the first things that I talk about is reminding women that we are important and that we are worthy of saving, because our society is one where we are always told that we're not enough, we're not important, we are second-class citizens. And so it's a reprogramming of the messaging that we're getting. If you have been violated, how you feel after that, because a lot of times if someone has been assaulted, they feel the blame. They blame themselves. They carry a guilt around, and we have to remind people who have been assaulted that it is nothing that you did. You could have wearing a hijab, you could have been wearing a nun's outfit, you could have been dressed head to toe, you could have been completely naked, and the person who was going to violate you was going to violate you regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to remind ourselves that we are important, that we are worthy of saving, that we are loved. And then that helps to create the confidence that's needed to move forward. If you've been violated, it's just one step at a time, one step at a time. One of the things that, and the reasons that I do the things that I do, that teach the classes that I do, and work to empower women the way that I do, is because after a woman has been sexually assaulted, within the first 7 days, she wants to commit suicide.
Mm. Mm.
And it reduces over time. But think about this. I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm an auntie, I'm a cousin. And if I'm carrying around that and I decide to hurt myself, then I've been affected, but I also affect everyone around me. Because if I've decided to commit suicide, then my daughters,
everybody else,
everybody is. So if I can empower you to protect yourself against an attack, if I can empower you after you've been attacked to make sure that you know that it's not your fault and that you can build your confidence back, then I'm helping protect our neighborhoods, our communities.
Absolutely.
So that's what drives me. How can I make sure that women are protected and empowered and can protect themselves so that we can have this community that's growing and not being torn down in so many ways.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is so true. And it's so powerful. It's sad, the stories that I've heard, and the fact that there's so many people out there that have been violated, especially in our community. There's very high rates of abuse, sexual abuse, molestation. The numbers are unbelievable. And for me, I had no idea. And then just sharing, because I did a show. I can't remember exactly what that topic was since I've done so many, but that statistic is something that I had realized or found, in the research of that there's these high percentages of molestation by the age of 18 in the Black community. And it was devastating. I talked to, friends and different people I know, and they've shared, like, I believe it, this has happened to me, or, guys that I've known or whatnot, and they've shared things that have happened to them. And we were talking about that too, about safety with keeping our children safe and things like that. And we were having that conversation about the fact that there are some guys who've been violated and don't even realize they've been violated. It's those ones who've lost their virginity at 10 years old and 11 years old, as soon as, they went through puberty. A lot of guys I've heard, that they're like, oh yeah, I mess with older women. I lost my virginity to an older woman. It's like, that wasn't me. No. That wasn't consensual. You didn't even know yourself. This person preyed on you, that was molestation. And it's devastating to hear that kind of information, because it's just like, you didn't even know that you were abused, you didn't know that this horrible thing happened to you. And that does a lot of, I think, psychological damage, when you do realize it. I would, realizing something and then trying to figure out, what do you do about it? Do you ignore it, because you think there's nothing you can do about it? Or do you decide to get help,
Yeah, those numbers are pretty devastating, to be perfectly honest. And so, what you find when you're dealing with molestation and sexual assault in families is, number one, from the male standpoint, they don't, like you said, they don't understand. They think because there's the bravado and what we build up our boys to do, like you know, from very young, you're going to be bad. All the girls going to want you, blah, blah, blah. So I think before I say what the rest I was going to say is, I think that we have to remember that these things are happening by people who the family knows, either family members or friends of the family. It's not somebody coming off the street that's doing this. It's someone who's the play auntie. It's the mama's best friend. Maybe it's the real auntie. You know what I mean? Like piano teacher, whomever, right? So we have to be paying attention to our children and the people who are around our children. And if the child is being abused, their behavior is going to change. And especially around the abuser. So these are things that we have to look out for. And then for the assault, it's some of these things that are swept under the rug, like either there's the shame that comes from being assaulted. There's the fear that comes from being assaulted because this person is doing something scary to you. And then they could be saying that they're going to hurt another family member if you tell. So there's a lot of things that go into physical molestation and sexual assault, and those things that happen to our young people. So as parents and extended family and extended village members is what I call them, we have to be paying attention to what's happening and making sure that children know that they have somebody that they can rely on.
Absolutely.
Because what'll happen is I will come to you as a child and say, you know, Uncle so-and-so is touching me. And you might be like, don't be lying on Uncle so-and-so.
Oh God, it just makes me want to throw up.
So we really have to, you know, again, I have 3 adult daughters. And I always told them that no matter what, your mama's in your corner. Like, I'll tell you a funny story. We would watch like the movie Chucky, right? The movie Chucky, just stay with me for a minute, V. The movie Chucky is this little doll that comes alive and start killing everybody, right? And nobody believes the kids when they tell them that Chucky is alive. I said, you don't got to worry about mom. If you come to me and say this Care Bear done turned into a real person, we setting that sucker on fire. So you know that mom is in your corner for a Care Bear or a Chucky doll or Uncle so-and-so.
Right. Absolutely. Listen, I laughed and tried to hold it together because I was horrified of Chucky when I was a kid. I mean, I was really young. I seen it. I kind of, my cousins and siblings were watching it, and I wanted to see what they were watching. And I came home traumatized, and I slept with my mom for like 4 months. And I was linked up on her, hooked onto her arm. I'm like, oh no, Chucky might be in the fan. If Chucky, you know, Chucky's in the fan, or he drops out, if he tries to pull me, you're going to feel it because I'm going to be like, you know, wrapped around your limbs, you know. It's so, and so that lasted for a little while. My mom was down like you know, she had my back until I was a wild sleeper, and I ended up upside down and kicked her in the face, and she got a bloody nose, and I got kicked out. My mom said, I don't care.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, I got you.
You're going to go sleep in your bed now. Yeah. But that's just so funny that you mentioned it. But yes, I think that is extremely important, is to show that kind of, you know, allegiance to your child, that I got you, I have your back, no matter what. You know, obviously, you know, my mom said, I'm going to side with you, you know, at first, but if I find out you're lying, you know, then we're
Right.
going to deal with that. But just having your child's back, when
Right.
it comes to those kind of things, so they don't have to think that they don't have anyone,
Right.
or that they don't, because they'll internalize that as that they don't matter. And then that just makes them more vulnerable to predators and to
Right.
criminals, Um, so
So
yeah.
we have to make sure that we are, because sometimes the abuser could be the parent. So
Mhm.
again, when
Mhm.
we're aunts and uncles, and we
Yeah.
have to really make sure that we are keeping an eye on the kids, making sure that we're
Yes.
there. It's really important. Like I said, our neighborhoods are different now. We're spread out more. But if I have like my actual biologicals, and then the ones by bond, the kids that were
Yes.
friends with the
Yeah.
kids of my
Yeah.
kids. So like they know that my house is a safe space. We're not letting nothing happen. And we just have to make sure that we are reaching out as adults, concerned adults, keeping our eyes on those younger people. Like I said, I'm a passionate protector of women and children, so I got.
Yeah. Yes, no, I'm the same way. I don't care if I just met you. Like people always say, you meet no stranger. I'm like, I don't,
Mhm.
because I don't know, it's just in me to care for others, and obviously, to see the world for what it can be. I mean, that's hard, because I do have that passion for people just in
Mhm.
general, and but somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to be there to care. Somebody's got to be that listening ear. Somebody's got to check in, when you see something. Pay attention to people, actually see them, because there's a lot of people who are out there who feel just unseen,
Right.
and that's a scary and lonely, place, to be in. So yeah. But yeah, I agree with you on that. So I wanted to talk about some other things. Not only do you offer self-defense, you've mentioned, already a little bit about uh, products, but you sell weapons, which I think they're really cute. I see them on the website. I'm like, oh, these are so cute. um, Got to be cute in
Yeah,
the process of keeping yourself protected.
that's right. We
So
sell.
share
I
with us
sell.
about the different weapons that you sell.
Yes. So I sell non-lethal weapons, and that means they're non-lethal, but they can be lethal, right? So I don't
Yeah.
sell firearms.
Okay.
And a lot of times when I'm having these conversations on the internet, they're like, just get a gun. And I was like, everybody is not comfortable with a
That
gun.
part. That part.
And
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about.
you have to be comfortable holding it, you have to be comfortable shooting it, and you have to be comfortable when it's time to use it, and know when
Yeah.
it's time to use it and when it's not time to use it, because it's lethal. The
Yeah.
rules are, if you pull it, you use it. If
Yeah.
someone's following me around the target, do I need to do that, or maybe do I need to
Right.
use pepper spray?
Right.
Maybe just a pepper spray will
Yeah.
get them out of the space, right?
Yeah.
So I got my pink bling and my black bling. Let me see.
Love it.
Okay. So
That's
so
so
those
cute.
are things that you can use to get avoid being
Yes.
attacked, right? So this is 16 feet. Like, you spray this and you can get away. Like,
I
women
love
don't want to have to be kung fu masters to be protected. They don't want to
it.
have to have a black belt to be able to get home safely. So how
Yeah.
can I help you make sure that you get home safely? And this is one of the
Yeah.
ways, right? If you're in the parking lot, if you're at the park, if you are exercising, you have this on you, if somebody comes up behind you, this is going to be a good way to spray it and get it. It's capsaicin, so it's red pepper. It's going to stop them. It also dyes their face. So if you remember them and the police catch them, and then they be like, no, it wasn't me, you could just use a black light. Yes, it was you, sir.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
good. That's
And
good.
so the one that we have, it glows in the dark here. So at night, like if you have it, it's on off so you don't accidentally spray yourself. And then
Okay.
also once you use it, then I keep it in the manufacturer's information because they will replace it for you for free.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And that's a great point that you mentioned about everybody not being comfortable with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they are not very confident to go to do karate. Our other guests that have been on, she's a karate instructor, her and her husband, and they have a karate school, and that's awesome too for people who are like, okay, I want to go take a self-defense course, karate, that's their thing, right? And they feel comfortable. Some people are like, I could feel comfortable with the gun, or maybe they grew up, with guns,
Mm-hmm.
but for the everyday, girl who might be girly, prissy, I'm prissy, but listen, I'll do what I have to do. So, it's nice to have these different options to protect yourself. Like what do you have? The what do they call the brass? They're not brass knuckles, but they're
They are.
oh, they are. Okay.
So they are. I've got,
Okay, there's different kinds.
yes,
Yeah.
I've got the black. And then I've got
Nice.
the iridescent. This is my favorite because it's
Yeah,
like
that one's cute.
colors, right? So the brass knuckles are, if you are good at throwing a punch, these babies are for you, right?
Okay. Okay.
Just one little punch. My frat brother, I'm a Zeta, and my frat brother, he was teaching classes, and he was like, I saw somebody had some brass knuckles, and somebody came up to fight him. He punched him dead in the face, and then walked away and put him in his pocket like nothing happened. He used to be a sheriff though, so it's different.
Yeah.
but
Don't try this at home if you got
right, you gotta be ready to throw a punch.
You gotta be ready.
Yeah. So, but
Awesome.
I've got these, right? And in addition to when I teach class, it's important, regardless of what weapon you have, like to know when and how to use it.
Yeah, that's good.
If you have a screwdriver and you don't know when and how to use it to screw something, hammer in the wall or whatever, it's not going to help you. I talk to women all the time. They say, "Oh yeah, I got the pepper spray. It's somewhere in my house." Baby, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you in the house if someone's trying to get you at the gas station. So keep it in your car. Keep it in your purse.
Yeah.
I have weapons in so many places. Please don't run up on me because you're going to be mad. You know what I mean?
Don't do it. Do not do it. No, I think that's a good point. I was going to mention that too about having the pepper spray and then not using it or not knowing how to use it. So one day I had pepper spray for a while because I used to work for the police station, the police department, and when I lived in Austin, and I got, they gave us, I think that's where they gave it to. I had got some a couple of times, but they gave it to us. I think that was the first time that I ever had, pepper spray. And then I was like, well, I have it. I had it still in the box. What is that going to do, child? And I was like, oh my God, what if I spray myself? So that's when I was just like, okay, you need to take it out the box and you need to look at it, examine it, look at the instruction, and then spray, away so you can get the feel. What if it, what if you don't know how to use it and then it's harder than what you think or whatever? And you could have been more prepared. And so I had to do that. But I think that is something that comes up a lot because I've heard it a lot. What if I spray myself because, I'm so uncomfortable with it or I hadn't, figured it out yet. So yeah, that's such a great point.
So for this one, and I sprayed it the other day because I was like, it's been sitting in my car for like 2 seasons. So I sprayed it to make sure it worked. I almost killed myself, V. Oh.
Not the self-defense, the self-defense safety, instructor.
So I sprayed it right? And I sprayed it down by the side of the car, right? But
Oh, that's what I'm doing. That's right now.
right. And so that's you make a good point, because you got to practice, and you got
Yeah.
to know, like, if there's any wind, lick your finger. If there's some wind, you want to make sure, right? And if
Yes.
there's wind, it's not gonna be that you don't spray it at a potential perpetrator, but you would spray it and close your eyes, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, so I mean, because it's gonna get you. It's gonna make it. It made me cough, and so I know it works. So it made me cough, and I was like, "Oh Lord, my nose!" But the point is, I knew it worked.
All right.
So you gotta practice, and you don't have to listen. I'm telling your listeners, you don't have to spray it, but make sure you are comfortable with what it looks like when you do it on off.
Well, you spray
Right?
it. Well, yeah, you said that you sprayed it towards the ground.
Right. I did,
Yeah.
but it was a little wind, but it's fine because
Yeah.
I was prepared, right? But I
Okay.
want us to have the weapon on us. I want us to have it easily accessible, and I want us to practice, because as an example, like I showed you my pink knife. I got a black one too, right?
Okay.
So as an example, you don't just stab them. You and I, we both watch these crime shows. You don't just stab them and run, right? You got to stab and twist.
And twist, yeah, I learned that.
Or stab and drag. Either way, up or down. But what you want to do is, if they're close enough to you for you to have to use a knife, you need to stop them from coming after you.
Yes. Every time I watch those movies, and I'm like, why are you gonna hit them one time with the thing? You need to just go all in, because if your life is in danger, you don't want to just hit someone and then think you're free, and then they kill you, because you overly confident. And I'm just like, because you do in real life.
Right. Because here's the thing we were talking about, like, we don't want to have to be like these incredibly athletic people just to be able to save our lives, right? I'm not, so I am not a runner. I'm not a runner. So if I am being attacked, I got to stop you so that I can run home. And since I run slow, I got to make sure you don't get up. Understand?
Absolutely. We ain't no track star around here.
Right. So that's the thing, like, for us women. So I think sometimes what happens is that women are like, I'm not that fit. I'm not that athletic. I don't know how to protect myself. So I'm just not going to think about it. It's not going to happen. Right. And so
pray for the best.
Yeah. So we really have to be thinking about, like, what can I do in my body to protect myself? Right. And so the weapons help. People are like, can I afford to take a self-defense class? Can you afford not to? Because at any point in time, something can happen, and praise God if nothing has happened to you up until this point, but we don't know. So how can you protect yourself? So again, I've got the knives, we've got the brass knuckles, and I love these little things. These are my kitty cats. Can you see them?
Yeah. Okay. And so those are like the knuckle rings too, right?
Right. So I'm old enough to remember when they used to tell us to, what'd you say, V? I'm sorry.
Get your Catwoman on.
Yeah. But they're cute. I've got black and blue. I've got pink too, but they're cute. They're easy. Again, this is going to be something that you are going to, if someone's up close and personal, right? If somebody's up close and personal and you have to stop them, you're going to do in the soft spaces, right? Neck, jugular, eyeball, you're going to get them, the face bleeds a lot. If you get them in that eyeball, it's going to start to bleed, and they're not going to be able to see. You're going to be able to get away. But remember, they used to tell us to put the keys between our fingers, and that hurts. Right? This is a nice, cute, simple, less painful way to do it. And additionally, because nowadays I don't even have keys. Everything is a fob. My house is a fob. My apartment's a fob. My car's a fob. I can just walk up in the car, open up. So I don't even have enough keys. So this is a way to be able to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So,
good.
And then I have my taser, and I've got it in like pink and black
Oh, cute.
and purple. Okay. This is a multi-use device. So I have, a lot of women are out at night. They've gone to the club. They're hanging out with their friends. Maybe they're just running. We just want to be safe, right?
Yeah.
Saw a post that said, "What would if there weren't men? Who would protect the women?" And somebody was like, "From who? Because if there wasn't,
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Well, there's some
right?
crazy women.
There's some crazy women too,
There's
but
some crazy women.
this is multifaceted because it's
Yes.
got a flashlight. Okay. So
I
I would
love it.
say this, like I said, carry your weapons with you at all times. This is a good one for at night because you
Yeah.
have the flashlight on. People will think it's your phone, right?
Yeah.
But they know that you have something in your hand, right?
Right.
So the next thing is, I want, there's a, I don't want to make it too bright for you, so you can turn that off, but there's a button here that is the alarm. Do you mind if I turn on the alarm?
No, you're good. That's fine. Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it. And is there volume to it? Like, you can make it louder or no?
No, it's very loud in person.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. That's why I was like, I don't know but the
Yeah.
alarm, so you've got the flashlight and the alarm. And the thing about if someone is following you or someone's too close to you or someone is like a little sketchy, the alarm is going to alert other people around, right? And if someone is trying to do you harm, they don't want other people looking around for an alarm.
Right.
So
Exactly.
there's an opportunity for them to leave. So that's
Right.
two things. And then if they're like, I say all the time, like somebody is really vested in whatever they're trying to do to you, they're going to keep coming. If they're high or drunk, they are going to keep coming. So then you've got.
Wow. Yeah.
And then, so this does,
and that's making a lot of noise too.
And this is like one of my favorite things to carry around with me at night. Even if I leave my apartment to go walk to the car, I just like to let people know I got some in my hand.
Right. I want one. I don't want to get one of
those. Like I said, I got weapons all the time. Don't run up on me because you're gonna be mad.
This ain't what you want.
Right. This is not what you want. But I have all 5 items that I just showed you. All of them we sell in a 5-item kit. And when we started, that was one of the things that we wanted to do to help women, because women were shopping. We shop online, but you can't get all 5 things, like all those things at the same place. If you go, if you're driving around town, you can't get all those things at the same place. So the kit is a kit that helps you get everything at once, right? Then we did the smaller kit, which is the I'm sorry. Make sure you can see it.
Yeah, you can see
the pepper spray and the keychain. I mean, the keychain and the comb. So that's you can get those 3 things in a kit. So I've got 2 types of kits, but then you can buy anything separate. So that way, and I want to make sure that when if you're buying something, make sure that you're practicing with it. Make sure that you have it on you. Make sure that you have it somewhere so that you can use it if you need to. I don't want you to, and that's what started me on teaching self-defense, because I said I can sell you anything, but the most important weapon is what's between your ears, is your brain.
Yes.
Right. So Absolutely. We've got to learn about how to protect ourselves, how to identify a threat. And then if I need to protect myself from the threat that's happening to me, I've got a weapon that I can do it. And then also, like, I play a game with myself. And it's like every time I go someplace and I'll just look around and see if something pops off, what weapon is in this space right now that I can use? Can I take this hot sauce and hit you upside the head? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's good. No, I think that's amazing. And it makes just everything that you said, I already feel more empowered with going out. Because I'm out and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh, okay, let me get in here quick. I I move slow, but I move quick, especially when I see some things that make me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, oh no, we won't be playing around. We won't be we won't be molasses in this moment. That's what my friend from work used to call me, like molasses.
The thing too is the way we move is super is the way we move is will tell a potential perpetrator whether we are a potential victim.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's why I'm so observant because of that, because I know how I am. I'm just like, moseying, trying to enjoy things, but I'm looking around, aware of my surroundings, because you do need to see that, because if you're not like, okay, you're going to go, I mean, I when I'm scared, I will react fast, but I like to, okay, all right, this person, they've been walking back and forth. I don't know why, but this guy and this, other guy, I was going to the eye doctor one time, and I seen some guys walking by, and they walked by again, and then they were even looking, and I'm just like, So it's just those kind of things, just trying to be as aware as possible, but not in a constant state of fear or anything like that. So I think that's super important, and I'm just excited. We're at time. I'm excited about all the information that you shared and all of your products. They're super excited. I think I should just get. I like that the taser. I like all the product, but I like that taser. I've been meaning to get me a taser, so I have to get one of those.
I got you. Let me know.
yes, you will be the go-to. Like, oh, let's go to her. Go to Miss Marcya. But tell the audience, for the people who want to follow you and get in contact with you, learn from you, and buy products, where can they find you?
Absolutely. So we are on almost all the social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on TikTok. I am not on we have a presence on the app formerly known as Twitter, but
okay. That's what I was
thinking. But primarily on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, you can find us. We have a website, beyonddefense.net. If you are interested in having me come and teach a self-defense class to your church or your office or your social group, you can reach out to me via my website, support@beyonddefense.net. Just send us a message and we can talk to you about coming out and protecting your people.
That's so, well, give it up. Ms. Marcya, I love it. I love it so much. I appreciate you. And you guys, I will have her information in the description box. So just go into the description box and you'll see all of her information. I got it for the lazy folks who don't want to type anything in. I'm just going to click on it and you there. I got you. Okay. No excuses. We will be prepared. Okay. Going forward. And so thank you so much just for joining us and giving your time tonight and just sharing so much wisdom and tips. I appreciate you so much for being here.
Oh, I appreciate being able to come on. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for what you're doing to help keep women safe. And between the two of us, we're going to make sure these folks are protected.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I need to know when I can get an advanced copy of this book, sis.
Yes. So I am going to start that. I think probably in the next couple of weeks of, anybody who's, ready to get it, at that advanced copy, you just can DM me or you got my information now. So, but definitely I will start promoting it. We're working on editing, still working on that. And there were some things that I wanted to kind of switch around and change that I thought would be beneficial, to the readers. I will be announcing that soon to let everybody know when they can put in their pre-orders. So Yes, I will have you in mind. I'll send you a little email or a reminder about
Very good.
that. Yes. So thank you so much, for bringing that up. And to the audience, I appreciate you guys for just rocking with us this season and all of the seasons for the last, what is it? We're going on 5 years of me of the show, and just trying to serve you all in whatever way I can, and just bring, have the conversation so that we're more aware, we're more prepared, we're better, people, and just, trying to provide those resources that can help aid you with all of that, as well as myself. I learn from the guests that come on and all of you. So thank you so much. This is our last episode of the season in this series, the safety series. So we'll be back, soon with some other hot topics. So stay tuned and make sure that, again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family and our page of the V Bailey Network.